All right, welcome back. Good afternoon. Today we're going to be discussing Coach Bruce Boudreau. Um, I don't know why I wrote Coach Bruce up there. I keep wanting to say Bruce Cassidy. He's the Bruins coach. We're talking about Boudreau, who's now the Canucks coach. So he's been with three teams before the Canucks, being the Washington Capitals, the Anaheim Ducks, and the Minnesota Wild. He's had kind of an interesting coaching career. He got his first head coaching gig in the 07-08 season with the Capitals, where he went 37, 17, and 7 for 81 points. They finished first in their division that year. You'll see a kind of a consistent trend up until Minnesota. Next season, team goes 50, 24, and 8 with 108 points. 2009-10 season, 54 wins, 15 losses, 13 overtime losses for 121 points. That was still one of the craziest seasons I've seen the Capitals ever play, or really any team. That was just incredible. And the Canucks had a similar season like that in the 2010-11 season, but man, the Capitals that season were looking excellent. 2011 season, they went 48, 23, and 11 for 107 points. First four seasons for Coach Bruce, he finished first in the division, which is excellent. All right, and then in the 2011-2012 season, he went 12, 9, and 1. At that point in the season, they had 25 points, and he was let go of his position where he finished the season in Anaheim. They ended up finishing second in the division that year. In the 07-08 season, his very first season, he won the Jack Adams Award for best coach in the league. It's the only time in his career he's won that award, but he earned it that year. It was a great year for him and the team. A lot of transition happened that year, and it was just all positive. So hats off to that. So finishing up the 2012 season, now he's with the Ducks, where when he starts there, the team goes 27, 23, and 8, which is a total of 62 points. They finished fifth that year in their division, which wasn't great, but it was quite a transition year for the Ducks. So he kind of came in, and the team didn't really tank, but they didn't do a whole lot either. So 2013 season, they ended up going 30, 12, and 6 for 66 points. He finished first in the division. A fantastic bounce-back season. 2014 season, they went 54, 20, and 8 for a total of 116 points. It was just a great season for the Ducks with Bruce behind the bench. So 2015, they go 51, 24, and 7 for 109 points. Now this is he has a total of 4 seasons with 50 wins or more. That's an incredible accomplishment. Not many coaches have accomplished that, especially in such a short time span. What are we talking about here? 15 to 9, so it's that 6 or 7 year time span. That's incredible. So moving on to the 2015-2016 season, the Ducks go 46, 28, and 11 for a total of 103 points, where they finished first again. So aside from his first season with the Ducks, they finished first every other season. That was his last season in Anaheim. Minnesota Wild hire him, and let's get into it. So his first season with the Wild go 49, 25, and 8 for a respectable 106 points. Very respectable season. They finished second in their division. Went nowhere in the playoffs, and that was kind of where things really started to decline for the Wild and Bruce Boudreau. Next season, they went 45, 26, 11 for 101 points. 2019 season, they went 37, 36, and 9 for 83 points. They finished 7th that year. That was brutal. Bruce and the GM had very different mindsets on how to manage the team, and it clearly wasn't working with the players. So his last season with the Wild, he went 27, 23, and 7. They had a total of 61 points before he was let go, and they ended up finishing 6th in the division that year. So with Washington and Anaheim, Bruce was an effective coach. He was a great coach. But he brings more of that old school gritty style of hockey to play. both those teams were, or both those teams were very tough to play against. They would check you, they would play hard, they would grind. Whether they were better or worse than their opponent, it was always a difficult game to play. And they ended up winning a lot of those games. Unfortunately, they didn't. Bruce hasn't done a whole lot in the playoffs in terms of Stanley Cup appearances and victories. He's still Stanley Cupless, so so Minnesota's kind of where that got exposed with Bruce. He's clearly, with all these first place division finishes, he's clearly a good coach. He has his coaching style. In Minnesota, their GM was going a little more of the finesse route, kind of skill, speed based, kind of get the team younger. And Bruce Boudreau expected them all to be physical and hit and engage in physical activity, which wasn't what the players were built for, and it's not something that brought them success or motivation. You saw some weird players drop the gloves and just get pummeled those few years, and they weren't built to drop the gloves. They're much better built now to drop the gloves. Bruce would probably do all right on the Wild right now, but that time has passed. So the Canucks, he's there. They played one game, they got one win. The crowd is chanting, "Bruce, there it is." So that's exciting. I don't know if, I've said this before, I don't know if Bruce Boudreau's coaching style will necessarily mesh with the Canucks organization, the players, and we'll see with the GM. But change is welcome with Vancouver. This is a positive change. Bruce is a great guy. I'd love to go get a beer with him one day. He's going to bring a lot of positivity to that locker room. He's going to bring a lot of cohesion there. It's going to be a fantastic change from what it was under Green and Benning. We'll see. Hopefully they get a coach, or get another coach. Get a general manager that kind of sees eye to eye with Bruce in terms of the team he's successful with, and go from there. It's worked out really well with Barry Trotz in New York with the Islanders. The GM and Barry Trotz have a very distinct way of building and putting together a team and coaching a team and what they expect from their team. It's very old school. Bruce is still kind of like that style, but we'll see what happens. Bruce it's the year 2021-22 season. So this is, a couple of years removed from coaching. Bruce has remained very active in the hockey community. He's been skating in the off season. He's been on NHL Network. He's been on Sportsnet. He's been on Capitals post-game shows, just kind of offering his insight. And he's a great asset to the hockey community. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope Minnesota was more or less just a fluke, but we'll see what happens. Doesn't matter how good or bad of a coach you are, essentially, at this point with Vancouver. Any change is fantastic, and look, they got a win, so that's exciting. Let me know what you guys think about Bruce. He's he's a jolly fella. So I think he turns 67 next month in January. Was it the 9th, I think? I think he turns 67 January 9th. Good for him. All right. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.